how many adult teams are they bringing? None of the provinces that registered the juniors are taking the adult players. So it already precipitates to the point that there may either going to be very few adult teams or no adult teams. And it will be a sad story if we don't have adult teams, because we are expecting adult teams to be there just to show the juniors how it is done.
And
We will pay the prices if they are there.
and the presence of them. Good evening and welcome to it. This is Chess and Wine. My name is AD Bila, and tonight we have a very special interview for you, a very special session where I'm going to be speaking to Mr. Joe Mahomole, former president of Chess South Africa, former president of Limpopo Chess, and currently the deputy president of Limpopo Chess, and the current chairperson of the LOC for the MIYCC Inter-Provincial Youth Chess Championship. So we're going to be speaking about most obviously what you need to know about the MIYCC, as we now should be calling it. It's the MIYCC, the MIYCC Inter-Provincial Chess Championship. I mean, he's the most knowledgeable person on the matter, because also he's been involved in the conceptualizing, the formalizing of this whole event. And I'm hoping you're going to enjoy this very long interview. It's going to take you for longer than an hour, but obviously we'll try to cut it on beats for you. But yes, so there it is, Mr. Mahomole coming up. Good evening. A lot to talk about, obviously, Mr. Mahomole. We have the MIYCC Inter-Provincial Chess Championships to speak about, and obviously we've got maybe a bit of what's happening with council. I know we know that you're a member of the National Council right now, and I would want to assume the most experienced of them all. So obviously we would like to have some insights on what's happening within the National Chess Council. But yeah, before we just start, here, welcome, Mr. Mahomole. It's Chess and Wine.
Well, thanks, Eddie. Thanks for having me.
It's quite a pleasure. I'm glad to have you here. But now, let's just quickly start with the MIYCC Inter-Provincial Youth Chess Championship. But before, why specific? Why do we have to say youth when it's obviously an event open to everyone in terms of the age groups that are allowed to play? Like, this is like an event for everyone, but it's a youth chess championship.
Well, Eddie, let me put it this way. This is not a Chess Limpopo tournament.
Yeah.
It's a national tournament. It has been debated and discussed. The concept has been debated and discussed by the council and then agreed as such. But then I guess the main concept was to, and then the others are just an add-on. Yeah, that's the main. The others are just an add-on, like the other age. So under 22, the 23 to 49, the 50 to 64 plus are just add-ons, given the experience that even in SAJCC, there was always a section where adults are playing.
Yeah. And now that you've mentioned the SAJCC, is it true that the MIYCC is a replacement of the SAJCC?
I'm not in a position to, because I'm not the president of Chess South Africa, nor am I in the executive. But what I know is that there is a national tournament in a different form, provincial. I was lucky to be part of those who started with the initial concept. The initial concept was that it should be a tournament where it is interprovincial rather than inter-region. So, and the interprovincial was always a concept that was coming up, whether it can above or across all ages, provinces should be as and then even if the SAJCC was there, maybe this tournament will still be there, because it is interprovincial,
Yeah.
interregion.
Well, obviously
Yes.
understanding the fact that you're saying that you're not part of the executive, but I mean, again, as a member of the National Council, you would have an opinion or an understanding, at least, or some information as to whether the SAJCC is still to go on. But again, we'll come back to that. Let's just kind of speak more on the SAJCC now. Is there a chance that Chess South Africa could still be able to run the SAJCC even after the okay, in fact, I'm not even sure of how to pose this question, because I'm thinking it stems from the fact that the SAJCC is currently meant to be okay. Maybe the question is, does the SAJCC at this current moment belong to Chess South Africa or Four Knights? And then maybe you could expand on any details that you may have on all of that, because my opinion, and I think I've expressed it at one or 2 points here, that maybe the Mzansi Interprovincial is being run by South Africa, Chess South Africa, because they can't do SAJCC because it is still under contract belonging to Four Knights.
I think with the last part, you are spot on. With the last part, you are very spot. According to what all of us know, is that the SAJCB has been sold to Four Knights.
Yeah.
So, and in terms of that contract, it's 10 years.
Yeah.
And the 10 years expires after next year. So, which means Chess South Africa cannot run the SAJCC unless they buy it back from Four Knights, or they have some sort of agreement with Four Knights to run the SAJCC. So I guess it's on those grounds that the Mzansi came in and it fills the gap. But whether it replaces SAJCC or not, I think it's a debate for another day.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but this year it's obvious it's standing in the place of the SAJCC.
Okay. Now, I think that's going to try and push us to the next question of, even if I think I was actually planning on asking. Let me just try and ask. Maybe you are aware. Are you aware of how much of the Four Knights debt has been paid? Because I think the contract was either 10 years or the total payout of the Four Knights debt. Is Chess South Africa aware of how much of the debt has been paid off through the SAJCC?
I don't get the question very clear. You mean the debt by Chess South Africa to FIDE, or the debt by Four Knights to Chess South Africa? I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
Oh yeah, I think my understanding is that the SAJCC was given as a collateral to the debt by Chess South Africa to Four Knights. Was it not the case? Was it? Was that not the case, or was it sold? No. It was sold.
No. The SAJCC was, if you use the word collateral, you mean it can be taken if the debt is not paid. It's not the case.
Oh, yes.
SAJCC was sold to Four Knights. Whether rightfully or wrongfully, yes, whether rightfully or wrongfully, that is beyond the point. Yeah. But it was sold. Whether correctly or wrongly is not the issue. The issue is that it was sold to. Yes, it was sold to Four Knights in exchange for Knights to pay Chess South Africa's debt to FIDE.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like I owe you, and then I come to you. Okay, take my car. You can take my car. Okay, I owe your cousin. Then I come to you. I say, Eddie, take my car as long as you can pay your cousin.
Yeah.
Then it's fine.
Okay. No, I think yes. Yeah, no, because I think that actually corrects some misconceptions that most of us have had. Because there are some of us that have this misconception that it was the amount of money, either they are given SAJCC to make the amount of money that they used to pay out to feed it, plus some interest. If they can make that amount of money before the 10 years expire, then they could give back the SAJCC. And if they can't, then after 10 years,
Yes,
they give it back.
yes, that is what the contract says. The contract is very clear on those ones that if they make. Remember, at first, Chess South Africa was owing feed 2.1 million by 2014-15.
Yeah.
So needed 2.1 million to cover the debt with feed. So at the time they did not. Chess South Africa did not have the 2.1 million. That is why a number is including. But at that time, Fortnite did not exist.
Yeah.
It was Tshwane Chess MPC that was approached for assisting to pay that debt, because at that time, Chess South Africa was suspended by FIDE.
Yeah.
So the discussions were with Tshwane Chess MPC. Guys came in. Those who signed the contract know better. So, but it went down to the same thing, because right in, and they were supposed to pay the 2.1 million half of Chess South Africa to feed it.
Yes.
But South Africa was right. And then if they make their money, their 2.1 million, at any point when they make that money, they must sell back SAJCC to Chess South Africa with an amount of 100,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the surprise to many of us was that later on, when the contract was discovered or revealed or uncovered, whatever word you want to choose to use, it was then discovered that the contract was for 10 years instead of 3 or 4 years. And it was obvious from the calculations that in 4, 5, or 6 years, Fortnite would have made their money back. So, which means the clause that required SAJCC to be ceded back to Chess South Africa, where Chess South Africa will pay 100,000 to Fortnite, should have voted, but that never happened. So the first surprise was it was 10 years instead of 3 or 4 years. So that's what sparked the concerns, the dissatisfaction, because there was no clear explanation why 10 years was signed.
Yeah.
And then that's what really brought disagreements within members of the executive board itself on the contract itself. But those who signed it, unfortunately, one of them had already passed on, which was President who was, where do I forget, Eldo Smart, may his soul rest in peace. He had already passed on, but at that time. So there were a lot of consternation about 1, 3, 4, or even 5 years.
Yeah.
You see, and then all is history, because nobody took accountability until the whole issue led to a very fierce contestation for elections, because the one group wanted to solve this problem of 4 nights and the contract. The other group were interested in something else.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that sounds like a very long conversation on its own. But moving on from
Yes.
that, yeah, I think we can try and move on from that. Now, let's try and look at the differences now. Would you say there are any differences, key differences between the two events, the Mzansi Interprovincials and the South African Juniors Chess Championships? key differences and in terms of how the competition is run, because I'm aware of the fact that the one had obviously two events, team events and the wildcards, and the one has only one event.
Yeah, no, there's quite huge differences. The first difference is that this one is interprovincial.
Yeah.
The teams that come are provincial teams, or the players come and represent their provinces, not their regions. That's the first thing. And the second difference is the format of play. Mzansi Interprovincial Youth Chess Championship, it's a Swiss event with team tiebreak.
Yeah.
What that means is that players play as individuals, but their scores count towards a team, which means player X, who comes from, for an example, what province can I get? Limpopo.
Yeah.
Player X that comes from Limpopo will register in under 12 as a player, and then together with other players who are 10. So they are linked to Limpopo as a team, which means they play for Limpopo. At the end of the tournament, there will be teams that are ranked according to their points, which will be Limpopo, Eastern Cape, Gauteng, and so on in that age group, and ranked according to the results of the individual players there. That's the with which cuts the traditional team event that we are used to.
Yeah.
Because the tournament becomes individual from the first day to the last day, which cuts a number of days. It cuts a number of days. That is why it is played over 5 days instead of many other days.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the third difference is that there are other age groups that are factored in, which are structured.
Yeah.
Unlike during the SAJCC, you would register an adult team which is not structured according to ages. You just come and play. In the Mzansi, the adult teams are structured according to age. There is under 22, which targets the university and college students.
Yeah.
And then there is 23 to 49, which also targets a bit of those who are still in colleges or studying, but even those who are working, and they are a bit they are a bit older.
Yeah.
That's why up to 49, and then there is 50 to 64, which in terms of feed they are regarded as senior players.
Okay.
And then 65 plus, which are veterans. So that is the third difference between Mzansi and interprovincial. I'm saying SAJCC.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay.